Hello everyone, my name is Gino and welcome to my game Funeral Manager. This is just a preview how the game works and I'm going to explain you what the game is. So what is Funeral Manager? Well, actually you are a manager of a graveyard and funerals and all around. This game plays almost like Team Hospital or 2 Point Hospital, the more recent part of the games. And I want to show you what I did so far, and I want you actually learn how you play this game for the pre-alpha release. So without further ado, let's start. So let me turn this off. So welcome to the Everlasting Sleeping Ground. This is actually one of the maps that you get provided, or actually the only map that you get provided to play test and do really funny, silly stuff to break my game for now. But I'm not going to do that, it's your responsibility to do. For now, I'm going to show you how you actually play this game. Now, you can read all of this, but I'm still working on this, on this text. But the most important text that you find is always a word from dead. And he said basically start building, a morgue, then build a coffin machine so that you can bury the dead. Don't forget the graves need a space in between. Nobody likes the smell of their other body neighbor. So when you actually going to place graves, you don't want to be them in a cluster. But I will show you. So let's close the screen. And yeah, this is actually the playing field. Everything that is light green you can place and build objects into it. What are the other things that you might see? Well, the first thing in the tab is your cash and your reputation. I give you a really big amount to play with, so don't expect this in full-fledged tycoon game just yet. Down under is your reputation. How lower your reputation is the less bodies you will get. The higher your reputation, the more bodies you will eventually get. So, on to the next part, because we want to do something. Well, the first thing that you open is actually the Funeral Manager build catalog, and this catalog you can find actually all of the stuff that you need to build your own graveyard. So you have your normal constructions like walls and hedges and trees and doors. Then you have the floors tab where you can build and change the floor. These are free, so it doesn't cost you anything. So for instance, I'm going to click this gray tile and you can just drag it and you can make a nice little path. For overall the game you don't need necessary parts, but it looks just visually nicer to have them. Back to the construct menu, we can just build a wall and you just do something like this. You can do like this, but you will get a slew of walls tied up together like this, and then you have to delete it with the bulldozer, so it's not very recommended to do that. Then you're going to leave a gap, you build a door in it, and you have a room, and in this room we can decide what we are going to build into it. You can make it one big room with like every stuff that we needed, but I like to make actually 2 rooms. So one is going to be for the machines, the other one will be for my morgue, and for the morgue we need some stuff, and those stuff you can find back in the furniture tab for right now. I will later on make some more tabs to to justify and make it much more easy to navigate, because now everything is in one tab. But I need actually the morgue slab. so I'm going to buy a couple of that. I'm also going to buy a cooler because bodies need to be cooled. If bodies are sitting outside and sitting outside for too long, people will be, or the dead people will be unhappy, and they will rise up and they actually will walk. So we don't want to happen that, because it will cost up reputation. So the next thing that I'm actually going to build is a crash test machine. This is special made for the crash test dummies. There is also a other one, and that is the standard drawing table version 1.0. And this is for the superheroes, because they want to be drawn into a coffin instead of being squashed together in a test machine. Let me buy that as well, and let's make the room a little bit nicer. See that I'm forgetting here. So what do we don't want to have next? Well, the next thing that we want to have are actually some graves. So we're going to buy some graves, and you can see that I put one space in between them, because these people don't like to sit next to each other. So keep that in mind when you're building it, that you don't cluster it up, because people will then be very unhappy if you do that. So now, of course, we can also make it a little bit look nicer. And before I'm going to do that, let's open this. This is the beauty map. You cannot see anything, but if I place some trees, they show you how nice the place is looking. You can also close it again by pressing this tab. So the beauty is really important, because how beautiful it is, the more happy your dead people are going to be, and maybe later on some visitors if you get them on your graveyard. So now that is everything built, the next thing I want to have is actually hire some staff. So we have some 3 basic staff. This one doesn't need to be here, but this will be out in the pre-alpha. You have actually 3 basic type of staff. The first one is your funeral worker. Your funeral worker works actually at these machines, and will later on also give sermons or help ghosts in ghost counseling and skeleton engraving. So they are like your doctors, like in Team Hospital. Then you have the Hirsch. The Hirsch are actually the ones who makes the grave, or prepare the graves, and also transport the bodies to the morgue and to anything else like your machines and everything. Now, the last type of staff that you have are the gardeners. The gardeners keep your graves intact. Graves will wear out over time, and your gardeners will keep they maintain them, as well for your trees and other plants that you have placed on the map. So let's hire some funeral workers. Let's hire some Hirsch, and at least one gardener. They also have a salary, and be careful. The salary of the funeral manager, of the funeral worker, is 300 in a month. So keep in mind that they are very expensive, but also keep in mind they can do multiple things at the same time, where these people are transporting and opening graves and everything else. Well, now that it's done, let's set them to work. So you can see that the Hirsch are actually preparing the graves already for using. And can I tell you about next? Well, at the end of the month, the first bodies will be arrived. So, you know, it will take a couple of time, take a while. So the next thing that I want to show you is actually the goals. So in the game, I have also set you some goals, and these goals are your reputation, your money, your graveyard value, and the amount that you have buried. So your reputation is just what I say. If you put people into grave and you do it correctly and well, then you get reputation. If people are not happy and they will leave, then your reputation is going to be lower. Your money, is your cash. You earn your money when people are in the grave, and they also pay rent. So when we open the finance tab, you will see that one. The next thing is your graveyard value. Well, this is still a work in progress, so this will be added on later on. And the last thing is the amount of people you have buried. This count for like the people who have died, like what you see right now, and also the skeletons and everything around it. If you keep it above, you can win the game just as easy. So in order to win this, you meet all 4 conditions. So that will take you a while, but it can be also very fast. So what you just have seen is actually maybe in the background are some people who have been processed and will be getting to their grave. And when that happens, your reputation goes up, your money goes up, and the better your reputation is, the more you can ask for your graveyard. Okay, we can also actually see their happiness right now. So if you press the, this face, you can see then the happiness, and you can also see that the trees here just gave these grave more happiness. So what can we do to make these people more happy? Well, we can actually put some gravestones, nice looking gravestones. They'll make these dead people somewhat happy, and it also is being calculated in the beauty map. So keep in mind, these are also like beauty map, but the best thing is that they don't need extra work on it. So the gardener don't need to fix these graves of these gravestones. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is actually the finance tab. In the finance tab, you can see what you actually have earned, what you have lost, what you get from your bury income, what you get from your graves, and eventually, if you get visitors, you can potentially get some donation out of them. Down under is your expenses, your construction cost, your staff wages. Later on there will be research and a loan that you can take out if you need some extra cash. The next step that is in the game is your prices. So your graveyard rent price for each month, and then your bury and cremation price. So when the bodies get processed, they will get, you will get paid if they get into their graves. For the grave rent price is a price that you get every month, so maybe I can go a little bit higher, but not too much because my reputation is not that great. But yeah, you can do that. Well, maybe I can also, like add some more to my burial. These will make your people or your dead people a little bit more unhappy because, you know, they don't like to charge too much if your graveyard has not a really great reputation. And that's just basically it for now. This is actually the game, this is how you actually play it, and this is what you will get on the pre-alpha. So what do I expect from you for the pre-alpha when you're going to play it? Well, first of all, if you find any bugs, report it to me because I can fix them. Second is where I should put my focus more on. Like more fixing in type of bugs or make new graves or new type of people who die in a specific weird way, or should I focus more on on different types, like for instance skeletons and ghosts. So you can all tell me that when the game is out, and you can also put it down under in the YouTube comments. You can also put it later on in the Discord as well. I would also put a link to my Discord also right now, so that you can join and ask questions or give feedback directly to me. Makes also for me a little bit more easier, to comprehend everything. So with that being said, I hope you will enjoy this pre-alpha build next week, and I hope you see you also in the Discord.